The 13th defense against narcissism is testing. Hi, I'm Dan Cassenti. I'm a cognitive psychologist and novelist, putting together this series on YouTube to help people understand narcissism better so they can arm themselves with knowledge against narcissistic abusive relationships. Testing. Okay, so little disclaimer here, this is not for everybody. The further down somebody might be on the narcissism scale, the more risky testing becomes. So what do I mean by testing? Something you haven't probably heard a whole lot of if you've explored other narcissistic abuse channels that help explain narcissism. But it's something that I think is still important to review. When we get into a trauma bond with somebody, there is a lot of manipulation going on and bending of reality. And so we might question things. In fact, we probably question things a lot when we're deeply mired in a narcissistic abusive relationship. We're being lied to all the time. And things that the narcissist does that we might catch them in, such as cheating, they always come back at you with a ready explanation for why they did this, and it wasn't that wrong, or you're at fault for it, or whatever. They're going to find some way to justify the bad behaviors that they're doing. And so you might question this. You listen to these videos and you go, oh, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe that doesn't fit them. I'm not really sure because they only did those things because I made them. Or they did those things and they weren't actually that bad. It was more me being too strict and overreacting. Those are the things they tell you, but it does cloud your vision a little bit. And so one of the defenses against narcissism is testing. What I mean by that is, putting some things out there to say to the narcissist, to catch them in the typical behaviors that narcissists do. For example, like I said in the previous video, boundary setting is one of my favorite defenses against narcissism, maybe my actual favorite, because it really goes to show narcissists. This is one that you could test them on. So if you're in a trauma bond or you think you are, you can test them because you're not quite certain about reality anymore. They're starting to get into your head and twisting things around and you don't necessarily know what's real and what isn't. Put a boundary out there. Say, by the way, I just figured out this new thing that I don't like and I decided that, this hurts me and I prefer if you don't do it. And see what the narcissist does. You can test them. We know that they hate boundaries, so if you put a boundary out there, they're going to reveal themselves. They'll start arguing with you. You're not right to do that. That's wrong. Boundaries are bad. But in a loving relationship, boundaries are seen as good. And they're respected right away once you say it. So if a narcissist in your life hears a boundary, they're going to argue with you. They're going to tell you that that's wrong. They're going to tell you it's bad to think that way, that you shouldn't have this thing. You might try to explain why. You might, accuse you of things. You're being selfish. It's really wrong of you. How bad is this that you're actually trying to tell me what I can and cannot do? It's going to bother them so much, and then you put it out there. Now they're going to confirm your theory. They're going to fail that test. They are a narcissist if they start treating you poorly. However, if you put a boundary out there to somebody who loves you and you're overreacting, they are, going to say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'll try to refrain from that. It won't be a big argument or battle. And now, remember, grandiose narcissists, they're going to speak out. They're going to be really obvious about stuff. You probably have to test them less than you would have to test a covert narcissist who's trying to deceive you into thinking they're not a narcissist. In those cases, they might not say right away, oh, your boundary is bad and I don't like it. They're going to possibly hold back on that, but they will stew about it. They will not like that, and they're going to bring it up at some point They're going to either bring it up or they're just going to flat out violate your new boundary so that they can test you to see if you are actually going to hold to it. So, you know, any evidence you can gather from doing something like setting a boundary or, you know, trying to inflame them in other ways, you know, you could try that, and that would be a testing defense. Now, why I said be careful is because if you test a narcissist and they figure out that you're doing that, you know, they don't have those moral boundaries that tell them it's not okay to hit people. So, you know, you might put yourself in a little bit of danger. So I'm not recommending this for everybody. If you are in an abusive relationship that goes that far, that the violence is acceptable, you know, you don't have to test them. You know what they're capable of. You know that you're in an abusive relationship. So run with that. Don't bother testing people who, you know, bring it into immoral territory and start committing crimes against you like violence. Okay, well, I hope that helped. If it did, please hit like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Those button clicks just help get these videos out to more people, so we'll have people to do that. Okay, thanks, and I hope this helped you.